For micro dispensing, there is one product line that is proven and trusted by manufacturers in semiconductor packaging, electronics assembly, medical device, and electromechanical assembly the world over. DL Technology, superior pumps and needles for the finer things in life.
Welcome to the SEHO booth here at Productronica. I'm delighted to be joined by Dr. Ronnie Horn. Nice to see you again, Ronnie.
Nice to see you also. Welcome to the booth.
Okay, so obviously it's a Productronica year, so there's a lot going on in terms of new equipment and new processes. So let's have a look around the booth, starting with the selective soldering system. What is new with that?
This machine here is the Selectline, a typical regular machine with normally 500 millimeter square working area. And the new feature which was awarded with a Productronica award for this year is that we have the opportunity to solder a very, very long board with a small conveyor speed running through it without interruption, and all the workers underneath, the fluxing, preheating and soldering happen underneath that moving forward a big PCB. Maybe the cycle time is large, but the fact is, yes, we can.
You have
and
the capability.
That's the message of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So these would be presumably for LED boards and this type of thing.
5G antennas,
Yeah.
1 meter and 50, 3 meters, maybe really several minutes to do the job, but we can.
You can do
That's
it.
it,
Okay. Excellent. So that's quite an upgrade to the selective soldering system. You started recently getting a lot more involved in robotic handling. What has been happening on that front?
Yeah, what we are showing on the booth is a holographic show center as a big eye catcher where we point out several solutions, customized solutions for the customers with moving boards and magazines from the machine to the machine back with several different processes than only soldering. And what we see here is also a cell with a robot doing a job within such a system. And some, let's say, our Lego stones box where we built the handling systems from different kinds of conveyor types, lowering, elevating stations, pushing out units and all that. And we can build up monstrous systems in terms of handling around large or even small soldering machines. Right. It's no longer the business to offer the customer a machine where you feed it and the PCB falls out on the other side. No, there must be more, and that's our business.
Right. There seems to be, looking around the show here, there's an awful lot more automation and roboticization going on, so I imagine you're getting a lot more demand for this.
That is right, and it's an increasing part of our business. Not only the machine, also very often something complex or even simple is around.
Yeah. So, moving over to the other side of the booth, we've got a Power Select, or the Power Vision over here.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit what's happening there.
So, SEHO is in the business of AOI, and now we lift this to looking from top side onto the PCB in front of a wave machine to check the presence of the components as an assembly control to be safe that everything is there in the right polarity. Then we get the green light to get into the solder machine. Yeah. Here we have a special fluxer in front of a big wave soldering machine with a selective application of flux, locally only in the aperture of a mask or only there where the music really plays, where the solder joints have to be, not creating a mess on the full bottom side of a PCB or a mask. And then we go into the machine with very strong preheat power. What is more and more coming back for applications like electromobility, solar power inverters, and we have these special radiators inside. We call them pulsar. They are fast in reaction like a quartz radiator, but the wavelength is a bit longer, so they got deeper in the PCB material, and we switch them on separately, one after the other, so they can follow the PCB during its movement and with the right percentage of power which is demanded. So if it's a heavy board, switch on, come, and when it's leaving, switch off with a lot of powerage. And the next PCB can be a light one with low demand in thermal power. We decrease the powerage of these pulsar heaters, and then they can come after the other. Big board, easy board, with almost not a distance between.
Yeah, that must give you a huge energy saving, I would imagine.
Right. We just switch it on when something is over it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
And it's got the fast ramp up, which doesn't affect your line speed.
That is absolutely correct. Yeah. And then we go over the wave Where in the pot, some innovations, we have 2 nozzle plates inside. Nowadays we can move them up and down a bit, some millimeters, to react to several conditions, geometrical wise, under masks or under PCB, to generate the right distance between top side of nozzle plate and bottom side of soldered PCB. Even during a sectorial soldering, we call it, we have 16 sectors to define over one frame length. And in each sector we can play in a different way with wave height, forward speed, and now with nozzle shape, nozzle height control also. So these are 3 parameters we can play with, and we are very dynamic in this process, what happens directly over the wave. In the machine then there is a cooling, not to freeze the alloy, but to prevent some components which have absorbed a lot of energy from thermal death.
Right.
This is just burning the finger and put some cold water behind. So the hot front is wandering, but the cold front is following.
Right.
It's the same here.
Right.
And then we go out of the machine, lowering station, come back underneath, and in the Power Vision bottom side we have the AOI to check the result of the soldering.
Okay.
And our components are small enough that the bottom side conveyor, no need to elevate it.
Right.
So we can stay under this 280 millimeters level and everything is underneath. We don't need to lift it up.
Great. So
Saves
it's like a closed loop
some
process.
mechanics, yeah. It saves a lot of mechanics in the handling system.
Very good. Now, you mentioned earlier that there's been quite a resurgence in wave soldering. What do you think is behind that?
I think it's the electromobility, big PCBs, big components, and high power 5G. Rates going through it, 5G. So it's increasing and it's always coming back.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, it's fantastic to see you doing so well, and nice to see all these new I wouldn't say new toys, but certainly new developments that you've got on the booth. So, Ronnie, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you also, and you're always welcome.